The news is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Romney Turtola Pier Park, NV Salon, Nail Spa and Barbershop, Tisley Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment. The United Kingdom has powers under its constitution to dissolve that of the Virgin Islands and does not require a report of a commission of inquiry to make such a decision. This is as explained by Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalio D. Wheatley.
To properly understand the relationship of the United Kingdom and the people of the Virgin Islands, and their roles and obligations, we first have to look at history. That's the first thing we have to do. Understand what our status is. We refer to ourselves as an overseas territory of the United Kingdom. In essence, we are a colony. And what we are referring to as our Constitution is an order of the United Kingdom Parliament. This is the first thing we have to understand. We may understand it in this room, but many persons are listening to us. And we have to do our best to educate them. So to help persons, you have to turn to the West Indies Act of 1962. And the description of the act says it is an act, and I ask for permission from Madam Speaker to refer to this law. An act to enable provision to be made for the cessor of the inclusion of colonies in the Federation established under the British Caribbean Federation Act 1956, and for the dissolution of that federation and for matters consequential on the happening of either of those events. To enable provision to be made for the establishment of common courts and other authority for, and fresh provision to be made for the government of certain West Indian colonies. To enable provision to be made for the establishment of new forms of government for combinations of such colonies and for purposes connected with the matters aforesaid. And I'll go to the specific provisions. Bear with me, Madam Speaker. It's a very short act, and I think it's important for persons to hear every word of this West Indies Act 1962, which is a law of the UK Parliament. Section 5 says, Her Majesty may by order in council make such provision as appears to her expedient for the government of any of the colonies to which this section applies, and for that purpose may provide for the establishment for the colony of such authorities as she thinks expedient, and may empower such of them as may be specified in the order to make laws either generally for the peace, order, and good government of the colony, or for such limited purposes as may be so specified, subject, however, to the reservation to herself, speaking of Her Majesty, of power to make laws for the colony for such purposes as may be so specified. And you would notice in our Constitution in Section 118, you'll see the power reserved to Her Majesty for making laws for the purposes mentioned here. Purposes include for peace, order, and good government of the colony. And you'll see that consistent in what we refer to as our Constitution, which is a Constitution which was passed as an order in the UK Parliament. The power conferred by the foregoing subsection shall include power to provide for the establishment of an authority to be charged or other authorities to be severally charged with the duty of performing for the benefit of the said colonies or for a combination of any two or more of them such functions as may be specified in the order, and for the expenses of an authority so charged to be defrayed by the governments of the colonies for whose benefit it is to perform functions. I'll go on. An order in council under this section with respect to a colony may vary or revoke any enactment or letters patent relating to the government of the colony, and any order in council or other instrument so relating which has effect otherwise than by virtue of this section. I'll repeat. An order in council under this section with respect to a colony, which the Virgin Islands is a colony, may vary or revoke any enactment or letters patent relating to the government of the colony. I'll go on. Any order in council under the Jamaica Act 1866, the St. Vincent and Grenada Constitution Act 1876, the Trinidad and Tobago Act 1887, the Dominica Act 1938, Section 3 of the Leeward Islands Act 1956, or Section 2 of the Cayman Islands and Turks and Caicos Act 1958, shall, insofar as it is in force in the passing of this act, and could be made under this section, have effect as if so made, and so shall the Windward Islands and Leeward Islands Order in Council 1959. The colonies to which this section applies are those included at the passing of this act in the Federation and the Virgin Islands. Just for the avoidance of doubt, whether you wondered whether this applied to the Virgin Islands or not. So you must understand and you must realize that even though some persons are just discovering it, the UK has the power. They don't need the Commission of Inquiry to do it. They don't need the report to do it. They have the power at any time, to just revoke your constitution. This is not a question as to whether it's right or wrong.
The House of Assembly, a virtual classroom for the unlearned and a refresher moment for the learned. Yesterday, July 19, 2022. With this JTV News Update, Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Cross-sider Deliciously smooth.
Hey, you. Put on some muscle?
I did?
No.
Rapid growth and reliance on digital systems has opened new vulnerabilities, and additional layers of cybersecurity are required to combat sophisticated cyber attacks. Simply Secure's security management solution helps overcome these challenges. Our service includes 24/7 protection for network devices, computers and servers with automatic restoration, security audits, and penetration testing. Don't wait for disaster to strike. Contact us today.